Make it easy. All right. So, session dedicated to conflict for the most part. And it's full session because you guys are here. So, we get to, you know, have a little chat just a little bit. So, um, yeah, for the most part, you guys understand the comping part and us finding properties that are like the one that we have. Right. So, in a deeper note, we're trying to find the correct data points to plug three main things, right? What does it cost today? That's a big one. Today value, that's what does it cost right now, right? Not plus a paint, not what we project, not based on the market. What is it valued at today, right? Because when you look at that number and you do your equation, you can say, okay, here's the real discount that we got, not based on list price, but what is it worth today if we were to just put a number on it, right? You also have your today value in comparison to the rest of the market. You have all these homes that I'm again comparing my subject property to. And the ARV, we already understand this. After repair value, decent, right? Every time that we plug ARV, you know, we're going to look at it today, but there are properties that you can pretty much say, here's the price that everyone bought before they did the renos, and then here's the price that everyone sold at after they did the renos. Right. And within the 6 month span, you'll have this little data spread that says, okay, here's the projection of the neighborhood. Now, today's value, ARV, these are two things that'll be like consistent, the standard pretty much each time you do these properties. Now, I'm going to put estimated value and the conversation is around perceived value. Okay. I don't want to put perceived value, but we need to know that this is perceived value for what it's worth, right? Sometimes this is list price. They have perceived for the value to be at list price. A lot of times we will know right off the bat, there's no way in hell that it could be the price that you guys are talking about, right? And even from the seller's perspective, what is the seller's perceived value of the property? This could be an arbitrary number. This could be completely out of fucking whack from what's realistic. But for what we're doing, this is also a data point at the end of the day. Sometimes you'll hear me ask, okay, well, I mean, shit, what do you think it's worth on the phone with the realtor? What do you think it's worth today? They give me a number, right? Then I can plug in this perceived value, estimated value, perceived value, right? These are the three. Now, when we're comping, there's a couple things that we're gonna have to take in. There's perfect data, which is everything that falls in line with exactly what our property looks like. Some of this applies to land directly as well. So James, when you have a property, you got 2.5 acres in a neighborhood, you've got a quarter of an acre in a subdivision, you've got 32,000 square foot lot shaped like a piece of pizza, however it is. You try to take apples for apples every time, right? That's going to be first. That's your perfect data. So your data points that you place, these are my first comps. Next to that, and that's all, that's going to be things within the neighborhood, not more than a quarter of a mile away. Next to that, you're going to have adjacent data, right? This is perfect. This is going to help me in making my decision and at least honing down on a number. That's going to be stuff that's not the same square footage as my house or off in one way or another. When you start to get like more than two, three matches away from my property, by two, three, I mean like, hey, mine's a single story. The property that I'm comping is a two-story, and it's got more square foot. That's not ideal data, but I can place that in that second column for, hey, this is a good comparable, but it's not a perfect comparable. Hey, I got a property that's same square footage as mine, but the lot is huge and it's a corner lot. It's not great data, it's not perfect data, but it definitely is a good data point to be able to use. Same thing. This one's got a pool, it's bigger, yada yada, right? It's going to help me give a number, right? Then you got stuff that, sometimes you have to use because nothing else makes sense. And that's just access, right? Sometimes you've got deals where, the only other comp is a mile and a half away. Well, you're in North Carolina, sometimes it's going to happen. You're in North Carolina, at the end of the day, you're in Atlanta. I'm sure you've had properties that are hard to comp literally local to you, just because sometimes you're in a certain area and it's like, why is this the only home in within 3, 4, 5 miles that looks like this? It happens, right? Um, you still use that data point, right? It's not the ideal. It doesn't it, that you all that means is you have no perfect data. You don't even have great data. You just have what you have, right? And so yeah, we still use that to plug these 3 points. What is it worth today? What is our ARV? And what is our perceived value of the property? Right. So that's where we start. That's where our concrete is. Now let's go through a couple of these. See what we can do. See what we can find. Um, I am going to use resources today, so nobody has an excuse, whether you have a prop stream account or not. For everyone, I'm going to use not a paid account in order to get through this whole thing, right? That way, applicable to even people that watch our videos that are not part of what we do. You can follow along, and you still don't have an excuse for being able to find comps for a property. So I am going to start with. It's not like we don't have properties. So, um,
Here.
John,
Are you
go. What's up?
looking for an address?
Yeah, if you guys wanna play the address games for ones that you drop the Arizona one, and we can come. I'll take them from you for sure.
I put this one in the chat. I just sent it to you as well.
Okay, good deal. Let's play that one first. So I'm gonna plug in the prop wire first. Easy tool, free tool. Um, it goes straight to comps here. I'm gonna dial in a quarter of a mile so I get a little bit closer. And then, well, it can't be a 0 bedrooms. Or is it actually a 4-2? Is it really a 4 bedroom? Yeah. No HOA 4-2. Okay. So let's go for data that I would use. I'm gonna go closest to my square foot. That's gonna give me lowest to highest. I mean, here's a comp that you can use. It's 400,000 for sale. 1,300 square feet. That's more accurate. It sounds more like it from what they said. And the subject property is at 1,200 square feet. That's a good comp. That's a good comp. So if we're talking about properties that I would pull to try to justify a higher value, you were trying to justify 450, right? So that's what we're looking for is being able to justify 450. I think I could justify 400,000 with a smaller lot and less than square footage. So I'd take 14,864 as my first comp for this. I'm gonna just use the slide to put in that thread.
Now that
Um,
hasn't sold yet.
no, it hasn't sold yet. This is data point. It's almost better that it hasn't sold yet. And they listed at 399, hoping that they get a bidding war in the middle. I'll take that pricing strategy, honestly, over not knowing what they'll do with it. 1,300 square feet, 2025, 350. Not a great comp for us. 380, 1,300 square feet, smaller lot. That is a comp as well. 3.2, so it's 380. April 2026, 1,300 square feet instead. I'm gonna use this one too. Yeah, once I start getting into the 14s, I think we gotten too far away. But here's a 1,500 square feet. Let's see, I mean, on the same size of lot, is there anything biggest lot in this in the subdivisions? 390. And the ones that sold for four something are on either significantly smaller lot or just a smaller lot. Here's a 510 on same size. It's kind of crazy. The 515 is way out there. 510. It's not way out there, honestly, in comparison, but same neighborhood. That's the same neighborhood. I mean, I can see what he's trying to do, but I wouldn't call this great data at all. The 510 specifically. Like if he's trying to count this in his data set to say, oh, it could sell for this. The reason that it's not justifiable, one, it's twice the size nearly of the home that were of the subject property. And yeah, that placement's probably pretty decent. It's a data point for sure. Would I use it as a direct? I mean, is it a direct comp? Of course not. It's 2,000 square feet. It's a smaller lot. It's not a direct comp. Is it a data point that we can use? Yeah. When I'm dispoing the property, am I going to talk about this property? Yeah, I'm going to say, well, there is this 2,000 square foot home that's a little bit further away in the neighborhood that sold for 510, right? And like the lot that it's on is 5,000 less square foot than our lot. So technically, hypothetically speaking, Yeah, there's probably a 475 for something ceiling in there if we build a 1800 plus 1700 plus square foot home, something unique to the neighborhood. Otherwise, yeah, there's no room. That's it. That is the game of dispo, right? So what is it worth today? Well, today I don't believe it's worth very much at all. Like perceived value, they are probably right on perceived value in saying, what are they listed at? It's the
This isn't actually the property that I'm looking at. This is one of the comps of, it's not an actual comp, but it's one of the properties nearby that I thought was interesting.
okay.
This is for 305 though, and it's a 2-2, 1130 square feet.
It's listed for 305.
Yeah, and it seems like they will take 260, but I don't know if that's enough room. It doesn't seem like it is.
It's close. It's close. Um, yeah, because what is it worth today? This bread is probably worth about 260 today. Wow. No, I mean no, the house that's the one that needed the extension in order to make it. Yeah, it's probably below 250 if it's worth right now. ARV, I could see them justifying a bigger ARV or what he's trying to do when he was talking about doing an extension, but that's an expensive development for possibility. There
Yeah,
is another $500,000 sale in the neighborhood or 490 or anything. That was the one.
yeah. I mean, they have two living rooms apparently, so one could easily be converted to a bedroom, make it a 3-2.
There's nothing else that's even the square footages don't of the lots don't correlate with okay, they built a bigger home because they have this much square footage. Like this is 1,700 square feet on a 7,000 square foot lot. 2,000 square feet on a 7,000 square foot lot. That's another higher one, 435. But you would think because they built a 2,000 square foot home that they would have at least sold over 450. It seems like there's a pretty weird ceiling on the properties.
Yeah.
390 this year. Yeah, so I can't justify an ARV of maybe 450 is the ceiling. Um, and I would hate to say that it's like close to not enough room, given what needs to be done in order to get to the force.
Yeah.
I think we feel this one out though. I think we signed for 260 and we'll feel it out, see how it goes. Worst case scenario, we don't get good buyer feedback and then it goes back to the Wolves, honestly.
Yeah.
Because 260 is worth shopping, even if I get 270. Even if I get 265 off of a deal that didn't think we were doing for
Yeah.
Melka, when you're talking about today's value,
yeah.
right? Okay. So, I mean, obviously it's different from ARV. It's today, it's in the current condition as it sits right now. But if we're
Mhm.
looking at sold comps, I mean, we really don't know without doing a whole lot of research what kind of work has been done or knowing, what the background is on all that, right? I mean, how do you establish today's value?
If I
Mm.
replace today's value with our perceived value,
I mean, there's comps that are before the rehab that have sold. I mean, on this property in particular, there's a lot of houses that look exactly like this property,
right?
pre-renovations.
So if you try to quantify that number, that would be the way to get closest to it. Because again, John, that's closest to our what is our perceived value? What are we valuing the property at today? That's a number. It could be arbitrary to them, but what are we valuing the property at today? And I'm one of the, again, best data points, James just said it. There's properties, usually at every flip that we do, even if it's not within recent, there are going to be numbers and hopefully an array of numbers that were purchased around the same 6, 8, 9 month period. They're all pre-renovation homes. So you should have a data set of pre-renovation pricing with every flip that we do.
Okay.
All right. Anything else before we move on to the next one? If you can get it signed at 260, if you need a verbal, if you need a real offer, if you whatever you need, if you need to put another offer out at 260 in order for them to sign it, you got my approval for you guys to write to rewrite another one at 260.
I'm gonna call him real quick and see if I can figure out more information, see if we actually have to do 260 because we're close enough. I mean, if they actually will take 260, what's the difference between 260 and 57?
Yeah,
Right.
truly, truly. Yeah, I don't think they would have said yes to 57, maybe 58, but I think at the end of the day, like yeah, we're talking about a few $1,000, a couple thousand.
All right, I'm gonna call him real quick because I got a 3 o'clock. I'll stay on the call. I'll just be silent for a second.
Yeah, go ahead, go ahead. John, give me 2 minutes to grab some water real quick. I'll be right
Sure
back.
thing. No worries.
Yeah, the dude's having breakfast? What? That's crazy.
Who's having breakfast?
The realtor on this property. Best case
Well,
scenario,
even West Coast, that's 11:30.
yeah, like that
Wow.
guy's living a life.
Yeah.
Funny.
Yeah. I'm still having a little confusion about today's value versus ARV.
I mean, it's just like,
It seems like a whole
yeah.
lot of hand waving. I'm trying to be analytical about it, but today's value, I mean, we can look at the pictures. We don't know how up to date they are. Um,
I think today's value probably isn't as important as other things,
I mean, at
but
the end of the day, it's all about the ARV, isn't it?
I mean, yeah, you gotta. I think the thing he's getting at with the today's values, you need to make sure that you get it a discount below today's value because their list price, sometimes it's what it's worth, but most of the time it's, especially for flips that need work, it's typically not what it's worth. like the only option that's worth that is like it's going to the end buyer, and that end buyer is fixing it themselves. Like it's just never going to be worth what they're trying to sell for, like in almost
Yeah.
every case.
Hmm. No, anytime I've been in a business, it's always been about ARV, dollars per square foot, things like that. Getting my head around this concept of today's value is going to take a minute.
I think it's just you do the same like analysis that you would for the ARV, like find similar properties, like find properties that are lit like were sold close to the price that this property is listed at,
Hmm.
and then just compare, see what the square footage is, see what it looks like on the inside. And then that's, I don't think that number is like as important because at the end of the day, you're not, I mean, very rarely are you going to ask to buy it for whatever it's listed for,
True.
or maybe never.
Oh, good gosh.
The dude was eating breakfast at like 11:30 a.m. So, but he did say like they're very likely to accept it at 260.
Okay. Okay. Hopefully.
But
Hopefully.
he said, I said, like, let's talk in like 2 hours once he's in the office, I guess. He's an interesting one.
Um, so any questions while we're here? Before we move on to the next one.
I'm good.
No, we're good.
Good. Good deal. So John, you want to do one of yours?
Sure. Did we want to stay with a single family or
Yeah, give me whatever's present, whatever's fun. Like, is no we can because we just did a single family and we understand values, even if I got to extrapolate different information to do land or to
okay, let's take this one. It's a 4 unit.
yeah, beautiful.
You want me to drop it in the chat here? You had sent that one over to me earlier.
And a sign lead?
Sorry?
Was it an assigned lead?
Yes.
Deal. Deal. So, let's go properties here. Go. 25 quadruplex. Yeah. I'll throw this one on a prop wire same way. See what this put me back first. So I'll throw this one in the Redfin because Redfin's always going to give me what they feel like are comparables. Most of the time, at least.
Do you prefer Redfin over PropWire for comps?
I, I, all of it's data, right? So it's not even a preference. Like it's like scrolling through channels to see, okay, who's giving me news on the property, right? That's the way that I look at it. Like, what does PropWire got? All right, I'm gonna see what information is there. What does Redfin have? I want to see what information is there. PropStream, another channel, paid subscription channel, right? Like all of these are just different channels in order for me to say what data is going to help me with my information. Shit, sometimes I call one of these realtors that sold one of these properties on the street to say, hey man, you did a flip that was, just down the road. I'm not even calling because I want you to represent me or nothing. I'm just calling that, because I'm investigating. If you don't mind taking my call, right? Because that's the best goddamn data I could get. Somebody that's on the ground, they did a deal, they ran the numbers, they ran the transaction. Can you tell me something that I don't know? Because I'm over here, I'm looking at everything that's on public record and I can't find shit today. So can you help me? Sure. Right? Whatever it is, you can find the data on the ground, but I'm going to do this first. You know, it's all just data until we have like, okay, here is the number. We haven't had a GC walk the property. I ain't got no goddamn tax assessment. I don't have a repayment statement from them. I don't have any true like concrete data. So all of this is just us. Even today's value, that's arbitrary. It's almost internal. I'm never going to get on the phone and say, it's worth this today. I want this price. Like it's not going to happen. So it's us trying to say, okay, in comparison to what we're all thinking. Because yes, a lot of this is psychological. If the buyer feels like they're winning, the person who I'm dispoing to, look, I've had situations where the buyer has such a perceived larger plan than I do that they're so gung ho about my price. And me, I'm like, this is a piece of shit. I'm not gonna do anything with it. Right? But the guy that's buying it from me is happy. He's like, 10K fee to you, sucker. By all means, I'll be the sucker for this scenario. I'm on whatever. Because I don't have the vision that you do, brother. That's your money. Right. So all this stuff is arbitrary you know, until somebody decides what they're going to do with it. So
Right.
none of this is stuff to get hung up on. At the end of the day, we could plug all of these numbers and say this is what it's worth. This is what the ARV is. You spend this much money, and then the market says no.
I mean, it's
That's
only worth what somebody else is willing to pay for it. At the end of the day, that it is what it is. And it may not be even close to what we think today's value is. It does seem kind of arbitrary.
it's all like truly. We do this investigation to make it all make sense, and then somebody may come in and say nope. And make it all not make sense. And that's just fucking what it is now. Now that makes sense. Now that is the new norm. That's what we have to get down with because this is what the market says. All the investors, made. I've had times where I did a deal in Granite Shoals. None of my buyers spoke English. They were all cash. They were all Hispanic. All right. They were all guys that wanted to buy the house cash and flip it for more. None of them were traditional cash buying. None of them were traditional guys. And I mean, who is going to be ideal to purchase this property? Because we ran through the ring, right? Sometimes who is going to buy this property is going to decide, okay, this is the value. What I thought was my ARV and what I thought what it was going to be sold for. No, no, no. Those guys had an ARV that was $75,000 more than what I thought it was, partially because the numbers that they're going to get, right? They're going to save on all the labor costs. They're going to save on everything on
That's a
top of
good point.
a custom build, right? So they could switch it up at any point in time. I got somebody that wants to join this call. I'm not sure how, not even wants to, but oh, you should have that already, but I will. Good. Yeah, they'll end up watching this call and be like, damn, here's my question. All right, so cool. I don't really see a multifamily that I'm even wanting to put on this. Um, this property could be sold independently or as a package. Have you called this yet?
I have not. I have not. I just started looking at it and I'm like, okay, so we're talking about 4 units, 2 buildings, could be wrapped up with a couple of other properties. It's, getting into some weeds here. How do we even begin to value something like this? I mean, when you're doing your searches here, obviously you wouldn't be looking at 6 bed, 4.5 bath as your search criteria, right? Because it's a 4 unit.
Yeah, but you also have to play with the systems, right? So, and here I'm not gonna do that. I'm just gonna go to multifamily, which is gonna immediately give me two to four
Okay.
units right there. Immediately gonna play the game this way. So I am going to start my investigation by going on with my zip code and then getting as close to look at these highways real quick. And like some of this is stuff that you guys would only see if you were in Dispo, honestly. But because and I say this as like Dispo tactics per se, as for how we reverse engineer and how we cross engineer and look for information. Um, because yeah, what I'm really looking for is that square footage, right? Um, because if I can give, say, a minimum of 5,500 square feet and a maximum of 6,800, shouldn't be too big, too much bigger than what we have. They gave me nothing. Um, One thing about prop art sometimes it just breaks. Like there's a prime example of it just breaking. It's just funny. It's like there's nothing wrong with the data that was asked of it, but it did not want to upload. Okay, there's some funny estimated values in here. But what I can do is take these addresses for what they are, go and try and see what values we do have. See this one real quick. 109 closed in July 2026. I mean, that's crazy.
Yeah.
That's actually crazy.
Yeah, that must be like a full gut.
I mean, how did we look at it? Like, we can go and look at the street that it's on, but yeah, it's the only thing around, right? That's abandoned. This is, I mean, shit, it could be abandoned. It may be livable. Who knows? But that definitely, whew, what a nice property. Those 6,900 square feet. Like the force appreciation on this to grab it at 109 has to be, I mean, they just closed on it. So, I mean, damn. Let's keep looking. 10,000 square feet. Where are we though? In between these,
4,600.
Stone Hill. Highland Stoner Hill, so Highland and Olive Street. A little bit north of this. This is us right here. Yeah, some crazy prices in here, man. You see nothing's for sale though. Subject property. Some stuff over here. Corporate owned, corporate owned. One 49. 8,000 square foot lot. And these are smaller. Um, because subject property is sitting at what, 189 list?
185, yeah.
185, 4,600 square feet. Don't look like we're gonna bring it down too much. Yeah, I'm just trying to get it. If I get a square footage comp, we're okay. But obviously,
When you start getting into these multi-units, right? Both the maybe not so much a duplex, but let's say a triplex and higher, like
Mhm.
even like that 17 unit wrap that we're working on too. Um, if we go back and maybe don't pay so much attention to the number of units, but rather the price per square foot and the proximity, would that be maybe a good way to go to compare some of these? Because it's going to be tough to find a 4 unit anywhere near
Yeah.
this that is sold. It's got to be by square footage, right?
The only issue that you'll have with this is when you're in a place like, like Shreveport, for instance, like that's not a price per square foot area, right? Like as great as price per square foot makes sense when you're in certain parts of the United States, your price per square foot equation is not going to matter street to street.
Right.
With this Louisiana, we just on not too far from one of the from the subject property was that abandoned piece of shit we just looked at, right? So I love the idea of price per square foot, but obviously, I mean, from 185, 4,600 square feet to 108, 3,900 square feet. I mean, without either of us, any of us being mathematicians, like that's I don't think the equation is going to add up for what we needed to. And it's a lot of places when you're doing the multi-units just because you've got a lot there's a lot of other things that go into this equation to decide what perceived value or what today's value is actually going to be.
Right. You got to start getting into things like possible income generation and things like that too, right?
Exactly. Right. Cash on cash returns, all of these things become a
Yeah.
matter. Like, what are we going to decide this value at of this asset? Because it's now an asset. When we DSCR, look at single family, we just say, okay, rent, mortgage, fine. When we do these things, we go rent, mortgage, what does it cost to operate this thing?
Mhm.
Well, there's a lot of things. Again, a few more rows that go into assessing the properties when we're doing multi-units. My main thing just now is trying to establish value for this property, our first subject property. Um, and if we can get a deal on all three, right? Their package offer is 545. But if we're going to assess value and bring all of them down, then 545 isn't even the number. 545 is the number that they want, right?
That
And then
seems very optimistic.
like I could even say that's their perceived value, right? At 545, but that's not it. We're not there's no way. If all of these fall within the same zip code, for one, there's no way the three properties going to be valued at 545. It's pretty close to $200,000 a property, and there wasn't too much that was even doing.
Right, right, right.
Kind of crazy. This one family has owned it for almost 100 years.
Right?
Like,
That's
come on,
also
like
Louisiana, though,
own it
man.
for one more year and make it there.
You can do it.
Jerry. Uh, okay.
That's
So,
that's honestly what you should start your call with. I'm dead serious. That would work.
it probably would. It gets you pretty. It gets you in the door for sure. Look, they have 33 properties. They got a bunch of shit they're probably gonna start getting rid of here soon.
Well,
If they're getting rid of this. If they're getting rid of these three as a package, that's probably what they're trying to do is package these and bundle these off and see what they can get.
hmm.
Okay, so don't shoot me on these numbers, but 150 is where we're going to value this one. Is where I would like to be on this one. Just
150.
150 on this one. This one still needs a touch up and it probably has tenants, but we're going to 150 2024 Highland, right?
Yeah.
Um,
So that would be today's value.
Today's value, and that's like our value on Highland. It's going to be at 150. Um, we're at 51 lot square footage. What is the size of? Crazy. 2,400 square feet for what we were seeing in the neighborhood was not doing 150,000 unless this is in a way nicer place. Off the hood, and it technically is. Museum District, Tree College. I'm going to value this one at 150 as well. Just based on this being in a nicer area, smaller square footage, I'll give it to you, but that is a nicer duplex every day. Well, is this a triplex? It is a nicer area every day of the week. This you can actually walk here. The other one, I'm not telling people to walk at night. Sorry. Um, well, it's a different walk. Let's just say that you might walk a little quicker over here. So Pinehurst is our last one.
Mhm.
I know you have a number on it. 2412. All three of them. Where's the two? Um, did they recently close it and they want to sell it still?
Maybe the info on the listing that we have is old.
That just may be a part of your investigation.
Exactly.
So yeah, 33 Wilkinson was still up for sale, and then we have 2024 Highland. Let's see if they own. Let's see if they still own it by the same. Looks like they actually sold it for real. Yeah, find out if they still have this one, and if not, then we can take the two for the value that we just talked about, 150 a piece. Call it a deal at 300.
Okay. Okay.
That's it. It's an easy DSCR grab. This is a DSCR play. This would be going to get traditional financing, wrapping this up into one loan. We pay the points on it. We raise the money for the points and call it a deal. So we may take the negotiation route for this one. But yeah, I would love it if we could anchor down at 300.
Okay.
Beautiful, beautiful. Um, and with that, we may start having these underwriting sessions live so we can just go through every property that we have. Let's go to the next one. All right. Um, John, do you want to do the next one? Or James, do you have another property that you want
I got a
to?
call in like 2 minutes for this guy on some like Airbnb thing. I'm not sure.
No, I heard. Okay.
So I'll go ahead.
I think I've got a lot better handle on it now, just seeing what you did there with, using that resource on PropWire. Sometimes I forget that I have PropWire available and I get too focused on Redfin and what their comp suggestions are. I think
Yeah,
that's a mistake.
you literally can use prop wire in the same way that we use prop stream. It's just not going to aggregate the flip comps for you. But at the end of the day, like you're smart enough to look at the dates and say, well, fuck, all of these properties are bought within the same little period at lower price, and then they were bought at a higher price later on, and like sold at a higher price later on in the year.
Mhm.
You can track sales history. All of the stuff, all of the data is there. You just have it's a few more clicks away. And
Mhm.
then the multifamily stuff, you can still aggregate the data based on looking for multifamily properties. Is what we just did here is just pulled every multifamily property. I could, switch this to only properties that have sold. And there's still three listings, one for 300,000, one for 219, and one for 260. That's three times the square footage of ours, right? So I think the values, like the today values that were given are decent. Like it would still be deals for both sides. And then that would give us the room. I'm okay that reveal the strategy to them that we go DSCR so that they know that. Um, Having some safety sometimes I say cash just so that they leave us the hell alone. And, it's whatever strategy that we're going to use. But sometimes when it's a little more sophisticated of a transaction, you can just let them know, like, hey, we know what we're
Right.
doing. We're going DSCR. We just want a good price so that we don't get beat up by the lenders. We don't get beat up by you. We don't get beat up by the lenders. You got to get a good number. Everybody's happy. Right.
I
So
got you
Right.
guys.
That makes a lot more sense.
See y'all later.
have a good one, James.
All right, James. Have a good one.
Bye.
All right.
Uh,
Cool.
Yeah, so I believe in you to take on, the investigative route. Just say, okay, let me assess some values. I can find some comps in the area. You get the data of, okay, I got perfect, I got decent, and then I got data that's just going to help me make my decision. When I'm asking for comps, that is what I'm looking for. I'm going to hope that you only try to provide me perfect comps. And then I'm going to go and plug everything that I just said in the way that I gave James comps. I'm like, I would use this one, I would use this one,
Mhm.
and I would use them all for dispo, right? So if I'm going to use them for dispo, then we can definitely use them for acquisitions and say, hey, this is why I'm basing my value on this property,
Yeah, that
right?
makes sense. Totally makes sense. All right. Cool.
Good
Hey,
deal.
good. Thank you, sir.
For sure. Thank you, brother. It
All
killed.
right, man.
And I'll send you some more values, man. I'll get your proper.
Sounds good.
Thanks, brother.
Talk to you later.
All right. So